Hello everyone and welcome back to more of the Fruit of Grisaia. We're on Amane's route. In the last episode we finished with our mission and JB dropped us off and decided to give us a kiss. Not on the mouth but on the cheek. And Sachi just so happened to be in the bushes for some reason and she saw everything. And I don't know what's going to come of that, but hopefully we're going to find out right now. Yeah, I'm home. Slightly averting my gaze from Amane's unexpected smile, I glance at my wristwatch. It's already past 10 p.m. At my old school, we'd be past lights out by now. Were you waiting for me?
まあね。書き置きだけ残して部屋に戻ろうかとも思ったんだけど、やることもあったし。
Oh? What?
アイロンがけ。
I glance around the room. The clothes I left scattered on the floor earlier are gone. In exchange, a cleaned, ironed, and neatly folded school uniform sits next to Amane.
アイロンは糊がバリバリに効いてる方がいいんだよね。
Not really. Yeah. In my line of work, any uniform you wear is expected to be stiff as a board at all times. Get spotted with a wrinkle or two and your superiors are going to give you absolute hell, as a general rule. As a result, I've got an ingrained habit of spraying enough starch in my shirts that you could practically prop them up like a tent after ironing. But I'm pretty sure I've never discussed any of this with Amane before. She probably just noticed my shirts are always crisp and reached that conclusion on her own. Not that that's anything out of the ordinary for her. She's got a truly impressive eye for this sort of detail.
それと、胸のところのボタンが取れかけてたから、縫い直しておいた。
Oh, you don't have to do that. She passes over the uniform with a smile. On inspection, there is indeed one button with a slightly different colored thread. It's been sewn on particularly firmly. The sight gives me a strange feeling of deja vu. What's this feeling? Right. Back in elementary school, I'd been wearing a shirt with a loose button, but when someone stopped me, they proceeded to sew it back on right where I stood. My one and only sister, Kazami Kazuki. I see.
実は裁縫はあんまり得意じゃなくてさ、ちょっと縫い目がごつくなっちゃったけど、取れちゃうよりはマシでしょ?
Yeah. Thanks. Now that I think about it, hobbies aren't the only reason people act in unprofitable ways. Family. The word wells up spontaneously somewhere in the depths of my chest. Working for someone else without compensation, without any expectation of gain, simply out of the affection, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. You know, I heard somewhere that they say you can measure the integrity of a person by how they treat someone who can help them in no way whatsoever. That's what family is. Or so they tell me.
ねえ、晩ご飯は? どこかで食べてきた?
No, I haven't eaten anything.
じゃあ、お腹空いてるよね。すぐに食べる?
Yeah.
待ってて。今温め直すから。
Smiling casually, Amane heads to the kitchen with light, graceful steps, then places a plate filled with sweet and sour pork and calamari rings in the microwave. Speaking of which, why is there a microwave in my room anyway? I don't remember it being there when I left. For that matter, there's an unfamiliar rice cooker sitting on the shelf next to it. What's with the microwave?
ああ、これね。マキナが使ってたレンジなの。あの子、自分の部屋にはめったに戻らないし、もう使わないだろうから、ユージの部屋に寄付してくれるって。
That rice cooker too?
そういうこと。3合炊きの小さいやつだけど、半合で炊くよりは手間がかからなくていいでしょ?
I see. The scent that inspired a moment of unease when I entered the room was probably the traces of fragrant steam produced by the small rice cooker. Even as a kid, I didn't have much in the way of happy family meals. But after my parents and sister died, I came to view meals as nothing more than regularly scheduled nutritional supply periods. And now, something inside me shrinks instinctively away from this sort of warm domestic meal. There's always this nagging, almost guilty sense that I don't belong in this picture. Of course, when I was living with my master, there were a few meals like this, but that woman was fundamentally crappy in the kitchen and rarely bothered to cook a full-fledged meal. The food she served me wasn't inedible, but it was never what you would call tasty either. Jamie would occasionally stop by on a whim and whip something up, and the feed was definitely an improvement, but it was hard to get too emotional about it, knowing I was going to be cleaning up the mess she always left in the kitchen. Hey, Amane? And I think I've asked this before, but why do you so stick to me persistently?
だから、一目惚れって言ったよね。それプラス私の性格。なんか私って誰かの世話を焼くのが好きみたい。
I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Do you really expect me to be satisfied with that explanation?
だって他に言いようがないもの。っていうか、どうしてそんなに疑うかな？
Because it's way too convenient a story. Can't help feeling a little skeptical. A beauty with huge breasts falls in love with me at first sight, then unilaterally lavishes attention on me out of sheer affection? I'm not quite wet enough behind the ears to swallow that shoddy manga-style setup. There's something else behind this. I don't think this is me being paranoid. It seems like common sense. What's in it for her?
逆に聞くけど、ユージは今まで何人の女の子と付き合ってきたわけ？
I've never dated anyone in my life.
だったらさ、ユージが知らないだけで私みたいな女がいたって変じゃないでしょ？
Well, I guess. I can't deny that I've got gaps in my knowledge. If she declares that this is just how women are these days, I don't have enough point of references to mount a rebuttal.
自分に理解できないものをありえないと否定するのは簡単だけど、それって自分の無知を棚に上げた発言なんじゃないかな。すぐに理解しろとは言わないけど、せめて世の中には私みたいな女もいるって事実は認めないと。
You have a point. As a result of ignoring a reality you didn't want to accept, this country once marched blindly into a crushing defeat, mouthing flowery rhetoric about inevitable victory the whole way. In the same way, dismissing a perspective you can't understand as ridiculous is just an egotistical refusal to admit other ways of looking at the world as the world exists. At the very least, I have to acknowledge that my values aren't universal.
はーい、お待たせ。用意できたよ。
Tell me something, Amane.
何？
Do you really love me?
言わなかったっけ？大好きだよ。
No hesitation whatsoever. And yet her words still ring hollow in my ears. Is the problem on my end? Well, fine, alright. I guess there's at least one woman out there deranged enough to fall in love with a man like me. You know, I'll accept that as reality.
何それ？つまり、私がユージを好きだって言葉、信じる気になったってこと？
I'm not gonna accuse you of lying. That's all. I still don't understand why you feel the way you do, and there's no change in the fact that I find overly confident women vaguely nauseating.
さ、私の一方的な片思いなのは分かってるけど、それでもこうして海外しく接してくる私を少しは不憫だなぁとか思わないわけ？
If I started lying to you out of compassion and dating you out of pity, would you really be happy?
たとえきっかけが同情だったとしても、同情のまま終わるような女じゃないもの、私。
You're one hell of a tough, proactive woman. You know that?
惚れ直した？
To be honest, I'm envious.
いいからご飯食べちゃいなさい。
Yeah, sounds like a plan. I bring my hands together in front of the food Amane zapped with loving care, in the microwave. Give her my thanks, move my chopsticks towards the plate. Sweet and sour pork and fried squid. It's one hell of a strange combination, thematically speaking, but the taste itself is impeccable as ever. Her skill at cooking is superb, and in contrast to her seemingly rough, careless attitude, she's unusually attentive to small details and highly considerate of others' needs. A good woman, any way you look at her. Of course, I think that's the exact reason I can't rid myself of my doubts. Why would she fall in love with me of all people? It's delicious.
So? よかった。
Whatever the case may be, I think Amane's smile is probably genuine. And that's why it makes me feel like there's a thorn stabbing into my chest. Do I even deserve to be loved? I understand that I'm overthinking things, but I can't stop. Every time I get on this train of thought, I start wondering what I'm even living for, whether there's any real meaning in my survival. I start thinking, I must be a pretty pathetic excuse for a human being, if I can't believe in that smile. When you get down to it, my master was right. I'm still just a punk kid. Just as my mouth begins to loosen into a self-depreciating smile, the sound of a cell phone message alert resounds inside the room. I instinctively reach my hand into the breast pocket of my work chest. Sorry, my work chest. My work clothes, but the sound didn't come from my phone. Which would mean...
あれ、メールだ。
Amane takes out the cell phone she left carelessly in the pocket of her jeans, opens it, and peers down at the LCD screen.
さっちゃんからだ。何々?
Oh no. It seems the message was sent from Komini Sachi's email address. Which can only mean one thing. Maybe two things. At that name, my chopsticks abruptly stopped dead in midair. You know, for some reason I have a bad feeling about this. I don't know what it is, but I do. Apparently finished with Sachi's message, Amane quietly brushes up her long hair with her free hand.
ねえ、ユージ。これ、何?
Did she take a picture? Amane holds out her cell phone for my inspection. Naturally, Sachi's email is displayed on the screen. From Sachan to Sue Amane. Subject, I can't say a thing. Message, and I didn't see a thing. That's right. The contents of the email are that a single short line. And the problem lies in the image attached to it. Uh-oh. It's a camera phone snapshot taken only a little while ago. Quite a skillful piece of work, really. In front of the school gate, JB's pressing her lips to my cheek, both arms twined around me. Oh boy. Well, that was, involuntarily, I swallow the food in my mouth along with a lump of spit. It goes down my throat like a rock. Okay, Sachi, what happened to not saying anything to Amane? I'm gonna beat that woman next time I see her. I mean, alright. She got me on a technicality. I guess she didn't technically put it in words, but... Well, this is Sachi we're talking about. I doubt she did this for the malicious pleasure of it. The burden of keeping this secret was just too heavy for her to bear. In agony with guilt over Amane's ignorance, she probably took advantage of this dubious loophole out of the sheer desperation. It was just a stupid prank of JB's.
いたずら?
Well, let's see. It's kind of a long story, but that's pretty much just how she is. Mine's going in that long story of yours. What exactly were you doing with JB at the front gate? That's the logical next question for Amane to ask, but... JB is a naturally wicked woman, prone to harassing me in this way at unexpected moments, just so she could smirk at my agitation. Wouldn't be my explanation, I guess. But it hardly seems enough to satisfy Amane. Unfortunately, it also happens to be the truth, so there's not much I can do about it.
アルバイトに行ってたんじゃなかったの?
Yeah, I was. Wait, that doesn't mean this is my job, okay? It isn't.
ふーん。あ、そう。
Saying that and that alone, Amane closes the cell phone in her hand with a snap, not betraying any particular interest. I sort of expected you to ask me about the job at this point.
どこで何をしていたの?
I told you I work for a cleaning company, right?
うん。
Well, that was a lie. Today we were cleaning a 20-story building in Tokyo, but, well, this big rat appeared when we were still getting set up, so everyone ended up chasing it around. The thing was, though, the rat was unexpectedly nimble. We ended up losing sight of it entirely. If we just let the thing get away, it'd eventually pop out of its hole again and cause more havoc. And our client was telling us I can't sleep at night with that rat on the loose and all that. So we ended up splitting up to track the thing down, but for a rat, it was pretty sly. And it took a good 3 hours before we found it again and finally exterminated the thing. Ugh. I'm intentionally replacing certain nouns with metaphorical analogs so what the information I'm giving Amane is otherwise roughly accurate. I really did spend hours running through the intricate web of sewers under Tokyo in hot pursuit of a rat. Incidentally, a gas mask does absolutely nothing to improve the smell of raw sewage.
へえ、大変だったんだね。
Oh, good you bought it. Yeah, I guess it was. But, that's all you have to say? After promising to have a meal with her, I ran off to work all of a sudden and stayed late without even giving her a call. Not that I possibly could have. Leaving her to wait in vain for hours. And to top it off, her reward for this patience is a picture of me flirting around with my boss. But she's not planning to say a word of complaint? I mean, I'm putting up a bit of a defensive front and all, but even I recognize that she kind of got shafted on this one. If she grumbled a little bit, I was pretty much ready to give her a proper apology. But this indifferent response is well outside of the range of my expectations. To be honest, it's inspiring some serious unease on my part. Generally, aren't women more, you know, jealous creatures? I'm not exactly an expert, but I've known a few females in my time. As I understand, the women tend to be more selfish about things like this. To the point of irrationality, even. You don't have any questions at all about any of that?
ん？だって、仕事の話に口挟まれるの嫌でしょ？
The photo?
それとも、何か疑ってほしいの？
Oh, that's not it, but...
まあ、そりゃね。私よりも仕事を優先したってのは面白くないよ。でも、そうする必要があったから、あんたはそうしたんでしょ？
Yes.
だったら、何も間違っていないじゃない。
Yeah, well, I guess not, but... Amane is weirdly understanding about this. She's being so reasonable that it's somehow making me feel increasingly guilty about the whole thing. It's kind of a complicated feeling. All of a sudden, some kind of switch seems to have flipped inside Amane. Her eyes narrow to slits and her lips jerk up in the very picture of a smirk.
そうか。もしかしてユージ、私に焼き餅を焼いて欲しかったのかな？
No, that's not really, not...
そうよね。ユージはツンデレだもんね。それじゃあ、焼き餅焼いちゃおうかな。
Spare me, please.
キスしてくれたら、許すかもよ。
Oh my... This woman. Exactly how serious is she about this? No, I think the real question is how badly is she underestimating men? Alright, Amane, close your eyes.
やーん、強引。でもそういうの好き。
Clearly confident this is nothing more than a bluff, Amane closes her eyes, jerks her chin up, and fiercely sticks out her lips. This girl's looking down on me. Maybe I should teach her a lesson? Okay. Well, obviously we know which one we gotta pick. Don't want to pick this as idiotic. Can't let myself get caught up in her nonsense. That's if you'd want to go on another route that is not Makina's or Amane's route. If you want to go for, say, one of the other girls, wherever their choices come up at, I don't know. But this is the one we want. This calls for shock and awe. Steal a kiss with overbearing force. Let's do it. That's right. Unless someone scares her straight, this girl's attitude towards men is going to come back and bite her badly one of these days. I have a responsibility to educate Amane in the dangers of messing with men. I'll harden my heart and teach her a lesson she won't soon forget. I seize the cocky girl's chin, firmly jerk it upward, and plunge my mouth against her glossy lips with all of the sudden violence of a dive bomber assault. Evidently surprised by my sudden attack, Amane's shoulders twitch as I draw her close. The fool probably didn't think I had it in me. That's what you get for underestimating the male gender. I temporarily release her lips, drawing back just far enough to speak a few words. Open your mouth, Amane. Utterly bewildered, Amane's mouth opened slightly to voice her confusion. I instantly pushed my lips back against hers. As I shoved my tongue into her mouth, pushing her lips further apart by force, Amane grabs the shoulders of my working from and tries to pull me off. With no success, of course. Much the opposite. I lean into Amane from above, pushing my body weight down on her to contain her resistance and invade the interior of her mouth with my tongue. Her will to resist apparently broken by the force of my violent rage, Amane's grip on my clothes grows gradually weaker, finally slipping off powerlessly. And as if to signal her unconditional surrender, a weak, high-pitched pant leaks out of the corner of her mouth. I guess I'll let her off the hook. I let the arm I wrapped around Amane's waist to prevent her retreat go slack, then give her 2 light thumps on the back to communicate that I'm letting go. Amane's upper body had been forcibly bent backwards by my weight. It takes a moment for her to regain her balance and pull herself straight. Finally released from my arms, Amane staggers back half a step, blinking her eyes in astonishment.
素直にキスしてくれたのもびっくりなら、唇にされるとは思ってなかったから2度びっくり。
I didn't think I had it in me, did you? Should have let your guard down. Fortunately for you, I am prone to taking jokes seriously.
私、キスしたの初めてだったんだよ。
I'm glad we can make it a good one. What a coincidence. Mine too.
嘘つき。
Damn. What gave me away?
なんか、ユージのキス、慣れてる感じがした。
I see. I'll have to take it a little easier next time.
それは、この次もあるってこと？
I just said that for the hell of it.
なんだ、遊びでキスされちゃったんだ、私。
I'm extremely surprised to hear you frame the matter in such a negative way. I bestowed you with a valuable lesson in the dangers of teasing men. My motives were unimpeachable.
でも、彼氏にはなってくれないんでしょ？キスしたくせに。
Well, let's not rush to any parliamentary procedures here. I wouldn't have pulled a stunt like that unless I was prepared to accept something in the way of consequences.
それなりの覚悟って？
Listen carefully, Amane. I can't be your boyfriend, but I'm willing to accept you as my girlfriend.
それってどういうこと？
You fell in love with me on your own initiative, and I'll accept that. But I'm not capable of making a commitment to you. I can't promise that I'll be able to take care of you for the rest of your life.
ごめん、私バカだからよくわかんない。つまり、私が彼女になるのは認めるけど、あんたは私の彼氏にはなれないってこと？
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's right.
つまり結局は、私はユージの彼女になってもいいんだよね。
Yeah, under certain conditions.
どんな？
Even if I disappear suddenly or drop dead out of nowhere, I don't want you to cry over me. Ever. That's the main thing.
それだけ？
Also, let's see. If I do disappear, I want you to do your absolute best to forget about me within a year or so. I know they're pretty selfish requests, but if you can't accept those conditions, I can't do anything for you. We can pretend this never happened and stay as classmates. That's all.
その条件を飲めば、私はユージの彼女？
Yeah, that's right.
じゃあ、その条件、飲むよ。
Did you think this over? I mean, there's no reason you have to answer right away. You can sleep on it.
いいよ。今決めちゃった方が気が楽だし、ごちゃごちゃ悩むの嫌いだから。
She lives for the moment. I like her. I see.
じゃあさ、私からも条件出してもいいかな。
Like what? Alright.
ユージは、私のこと、好き？ それだけでいいから、今、この場で聞かせて。
I had a feeling she'd ask that.
正直に言ってもいいんだよ。
Let's see. Let's be honest. I think I've liked you for quite a while now, but I'm not exactly experienced with this sort of emotion. I don't understand how exactly to describe my feelings for you, but yeah, I think she deserves a clear answer here. I do love you, Amane.
そうなんだ。じゃあ安心だね。よかった。それが聞けて。
Well, I think pretty much anyone's gonna love having a convenient, devoted woman dropped in their lap.
私の粘りがちってやつだね。ちなみに、どんぐらい好きかって聞いてもいい？
What? How am I supposed to measure that?
大体でいいんだよ。例えば、宇宙一好きとか。
Well, I can't say. I haven't had the chance to explore the universe yet.
そういう話じゃなくて、あくまでも例えばの話。
Alright then, hypothetically. If your life or property came in danger, I'd protect you even if it meant throwing away everything else away. To tell you the truth, that's probably just about the only thing I can do for you. The responsibility to protect. That, at least, is a concept I'm familiar with. It's a bit of a catchphrase in my line of work.
じゃあさ、これでもう、私はユージの彼女？
Yes, you are.
そっか。
I gave her a firm, decisive answer, but Amane's reaction seems fairly subdued. No spontaneous outbursts of joy, at least. Well, I guess a romantic relationship with this many strings attached is pretty unusual. Not really surprising that she might have mixed feelings about it.
ごめん。ちょっと座ってもいい？
Why? No. Before she could answer my question, Amane sinks unsteadily to the floor, landing in a sitting position with a light thump. What's wrong, Amane?
ごめん。なんか急に力が抜けちゃって、膝がガクガクしてるの。
Feeling alright?
なんだろう。急にキスされたのにも驚いたし、ユージの彼女になれたってのも嬉しくて。でも、なんか実感があまり湧かなくて。さっきからなんか足元がふわふわしてるなーって思ってたんだけど、ダメだ。腰が抜けたっぽい。立てないよ。
You're hopeless. She puts up a consistently strong front, but when push comes to shove, it seems Amane's a pretty timid woman. Already thrown off balance by her first kiss, the impact of becoming my girlfriend seems to have been sufficient to rob her of motor control. If you can't stand on your own, I'll give you a hand. What's that bizarre sound you're emitting? Are you laughing?
笑ってる。そっか。私、ユージの彼女だ。
What, now the idea scares you? That's a little late for that.
そうじゃないけど、宝くじで一等賞が当たったみたいな感じ？なんか、まだ信じられない。ねえ、本当に彼女でいいんだよね。
Yeah, I meant what I said. Nauseating.
あんたね、彼女に向かって気持ち悪いとか言わないの？
Just stand up already, will you? Here, give me your hand.
立ち上がらせてどうする気？今なら私、力が抜けてるから何も抵抗できないよ。
What's your point?
だから、襲うなら今だよってこと。ぶっちゃけて言うと、今なら抱いても OK だよってサインを送ってるのよ。
The hell? Amane's trying to put up a strong front with the usual slut act, but it's decidedly unconvincing with her hands trembling in mine like a chihuahua with anxiety issues. What's with the media leaping into the deep end? Please don't tell me I'll just let him pound away at my pussy until he's addicted to me. Was that the only thing you'd come up with for the next step?
すっごく気持ちいいぞ。どうする？しちゃう？
Says the girl shaking like a leaf in the breeze. Don't get carried away, idiot. With my free hand, I deliver a sharp karate chop to the top of Amane. Look, I'm not gonna vanish like smoke tomorrow. Probably not the day after that either, so don't rush things.
なんか不安なのよね。あんたの場合、本当にふっと私の前からいなくなりそうでさ。
You're worrying too much. Just get some sleep for the moment, alright? I'll take you to your room.
おんぶしてくれる？
Yeah, I think I can handle that. I lift Amane's completely limp body onto my back, carry her up the stairs, and escort her back to her room. This would be the second time I've toted Amane around like this, but her body feels lighter than before. Probably because I'm more ready to carry her, and because she's more comfortable being carried by me, because the distance we kept between us has shrunk. She's got a big body, but she's definitely a burden I can bear. And so, as of today, Amane became my girlfriend.